All right, all right. I think we're good to go ahead and start here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I'm not a professor, but you can call me Nap. And welcome. Hope everybody's having a good Sunday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We are starting, as you may noticed, a little bit earlier today. Not a ton early, just like a little bit earlier. Um, and that's because later today I basically have to be out of here by before 9:30 my time. So I'm basically just decided, you know what, it's not something that's like, you know, worthy of like canceling streams, so I'll just stream a little bit earlier so that way we can still do it and I can get done what I need to get done. But yeah, hope everybody's having a great day, a good relaxing Sunday, a good relaxing weekend. I'm so happy. I'm so happy it's finally staying uh warm a little bit. Not like super warm, but it's like warming up enough to like you can go outside and do things. I mean, I went on a short little like hike the other day, earlier this weekend. It was that nice outside, and that's how I know it's a good sign that it's going to be that it's spring, or at least getting to be spring. And the fact I didn't even have to put my heat on today. I love it. I love this kind of weather. I love that it's warming up. I love that it's light out. I love being able to look out my window right now as I'm streaming and seeing sunlight. I love that a lot. But yeah. Even though I did do that hike, but I have actually spent a lot of my weekend actually inside because I've needed to work on things, partially for like streaming stuff, and just other things. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and real quick before I forget. I just like a few hours ago uploaded my newest uh YouTube short. Let me go ahead and grab that here. All right, I'm gonna share in the chat real quick. But yeah, that's what I spent a lot of this weekend doing was working on this short. Okay. There we go. Yeah, so this YouTube short, it's actually it's almost not a YouTube short because it's like almost 3 minutes long. It's almost 3 minutes long because it's basically it's almost two YouTube shorts in one, or like two topics in one, because it's on one of the people that we researched in the photo we're talking about, Amy Brown, who, if you were here for that stream or remember that stream, that was the stream where basically we spent, well, actually it was two streams. We spent 2 hours or 3 hours on one stream just trying to find her. She was so difficult to find. She's by far the hardest person we've had trying to find them in this project. It took one stream, just 3 hours to find her, and then another stream of actually like learning about her and learning her history and everything. And because of that, I had to basically combine two topics where the first part of the short is basically talking about how I found her, like the research I had to do to just even find her, and then talking about her life story and everything. So that's why it's almost 3 minutes long, because it's basically two shorts in one. But yeah, I'm very happy with it. I think it turned out well. I think it turned out really well, all things considered. And then let me see. Is there anything else I need to go over? Oh, one other thing I will say. I've been kind of like advertising it a little bit as the past few weeks, but I am also working on a special stream for Wednesday, April 1st. So if you want to check that out, I highly recommend saving the date and being here. It's going to be a really fun special stream. I'm not going to go into what it is yet, but you'll see when we get there. And then let's see what else. I don't think there's really anything else to talk about. I think we can go ahead and we can just kind of start talking about what we're going to be doing today. All right. Let me go ahead and let me first make myself a little smaller. And then let me pull up the... All right, get ready. Victorian child jump scare. There they are. All right. So we are officially over halfway through this project, which feels crazy to say. We have done numbers 1 through 13. 1 through 13. And oh yeah, that was actually something I forgot to mention. So on, if you weren't here for the Stardew Valley stream we did on Saturday, I will say something that did happen on Sunday. Or sorry, after Wednesday's stream. So Wednesday's stream, we researched number 13 there, who is somebody named Blanche Dietrich, and it took us a little bit to find her. Oh wait, no, sorry, that wasn't. No, we found her easily. It was the other. Sorry, I was thinking of somebody else. Guy, when you research 13 people in a row, they all start to kind of blend together a little bit. But we did research Blanche, and she had a decent amount of stuff. It turns out she married a professor, a doctor of mathematics, who ended up being a professor at Rutgers, and also might have been one of his students. I can't confirm that yet. I don't want to make too many accusations yet, but it looks like there's a possibility that they met because she was his student. But anyway, basically what ended up happening, though, is that we found so much stuff and we ended up going so much later than I originally thought. Also because we had tech issues that stream as well. I forgot about that. We had tech issues that stream. And we basically ended so late that I was like, okay, I'm not gonna... Because normally after stream, sometimes what I like to do is I'll like go through all my documents and like save them to my computer and, you know, save everything. But that day I was like, okay, you know what? No, I'll leave my computer on and I'll save them tomorrow because it was really late and I needed to go to bed. Well, I come back to my computer after work the next day thinking like, all right, let's go ahead and let's start downloading all these things. And lo and behold, my computer decided to update itself, an automatic update. And as a result, I lost all of the tabs that I had open and all of the documents that we had found that stream. And so I had to spend most of Thursday going back and refinding all the stuff. And I think I got most of it. I think I got a good majority of it. I don't think I missed anything crazy important. But yeah. And it's also just hitting me that all of this bad stuff happened. Like, it was it was, we had the tech issues where I had to turn off, like, because I forgot to plug in my computer. We had the tech issues, I had to restart stream, went super late, and then I lost all the documents and everything like that, and all that stuff happened. I just realized she's number 13. I normally don't believe in bad omens or anything like that, or superstitious, but that's a crazy coincidence. That's a crazy sign. That happened during our stream. But yeah, let's see. All right, but that's enough talking about last stream. Let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to do today. So today we're going to be researching number 14 there. And if you may notice, let me zoom in a little bit. She's number 14 is looking a little blurry. She unfortunately didn't get the memo that with a lot of these old photos, you have to stand still for a decent amount of time and not move. And basically, as a result, her face is blurry. Now, that's also interesting because on the back of the photo here, which has a list of everybody who is in the photo, they weren't 100% sure either who it was. They think that it's a girl named Leslie Chase. That's their theory as of right now, that it's Leslie Chase is the person. But unfortunately, we can't 100% tell because, you know, she's all blurry. So we're just going to assume that they're right and that this is Leslie Chase going forward. Also, I just had the realization looking at this list that everyone else on this list going forward that we're going to be researching is women. I did not realize that when I've been like looking at this like list and everything, that there's only are there only 1, 2. Are there only 2 boys in the whole photo? Yeah, I'd never really thought about that, but I guess, yeah, there's only 2 boys in the whole photo. The rest of it is women. I never realized that. Who would have thought I would have noticed something like that sooner, but I guess not. Huh. Alright, but anyway. So we're going to go with who they think this person is. We're going to assume that this is Leslie Chase, and we're going to go ahead and research her today. So let's go ahead then, and let's get ready and get started with streaming. Let's go ahead and transfer on over to our classroom. All right, here we are. So yeah, we can see Leslie up there. You can see even closer here in that photo above me that like she is very blurry. She's very blurry. Also, before we start, I'm going to put a little thing in the chat here. All right, let me open that. Let me pin that message. All right. So yeah, so as you can see here, this is uh our list of everyone that we've researched so far. We have 13 people here. We've had some crazy stories that we've uncovered. Like for example, oh God, where to begin? There's so many. That let's see, Marion Metcalf, married a gold medal Olympic sprinter. That Eliza Furman was actually adopted. Furman is not her her birth name, and even though she was adopted, her birth father was still alive and lived in the same town as her. And also, she was almost hit by a train at 2 years old, and a bunch of other crazy stuff we found that stream. What else? There was it Mary Baldwin who had the? Yes, yeah. Mary Baldwin is the one whose father had a local, who owned one of the or edited one of the local papers, and had like beef and like rivalry in the newspaper with some of the other with the other local papers. It was actually really funny. Oh yeah, and Helen Lewis had the horrible unfortunate luck of dying after being hit by a truck on her birthday. And then Bessie, who we researched last stream, where yeah, we found out that her husband was a professor, and also that their son was also really smart and like went to Rutgers like at like 16. So yeah. All right. I think that's pretty much that. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do Leslie Chase here. At least who we assume to be Leslie Chase. Let's see. So Leslie. Hello, Pirate. Welcome on in. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. You caught us just as we're starting here. We're going to research Leslie Chase, or at least who we think is Leslie Chase. Because you can see in the photo above me, she moved when the photo was taken, and so her face is blurry. And so the people on the back of the photo don't even know if it actually is her. They have a question mark next to her name. We'll be in and out sewing my coat. Ooh, all right. Good luck. Sewing is one of those things that I wish I knew how to do. Like that's something that's a skill that I wish I think I should actually like teach myself how to do, because I think that's a good, handy utilitarian skill to have. But yeah. Also, we started a little bit early today, because I do have to be out of here before 9:30. So, we'll see. We'll see, though, how close we get to that. All right. Okay. Let's see, I think... Is this her? I mean, born October 21st, 1880 in Tacanic. I think that might be her. Okay, let's say 1880, if that is her birth year. Okay. The only thing that's coming out is like newspaper articles and one census record. So let's actually look at... Okay, wait, where was that one census record? This one. Let's pull this one up. Okay, so 1880. Okay, so we got... Okay, so it looks like 1900 is the first one. Is the first census we have for her. Yeah, because she was born October of 1880. That means that she was born right after the 1880 census. She's 19 in this case. All right, hold on. Oh wait, actually, wait. Let me go back here and open this in a new tab. Oh shoot. Okay, yeah, Martha, Chase, and Leslie. She's head of household. This is in Wilkes-Barre. So they're not in Taconic anymore. They're in Wilkes-Barre. What does that say? Academy Street? Oh, wait. Davis Place. Okay, Davis Place is the street they're on. 73 Davis Place. But yeah, they're... So she's 19. Her father is no longer alive. She's 19 here. She does have a sibling, because it says here, children born 3, alive 2. So unfortunately, she did have a sibling who passed away. And I'm guessing she must have had an older sibling, because that older sibling isn't living with them anymore. Okay. Oh, does she work for the newspaper? Oh, no. Stenographer. Sorry, that's what it looked like newspaper for a second. No, but it's stenographer. Okay, that's what it is. I'm only doing it because I'm cheap. Don't want to buy a new one. Hey, that's 100% fair. I mean, like, I'm all about that. Be frugal, save your money. Like, and if it's a good jacket, it just has like it just needs a little bit of fixing, or it's one that you like, and go for it. Absolutely. Okay, so she is working. She is a stenographer. Okay, and then let's go ahead and let's look at our 1910 census here. Okay. Okay, so by 1910, she's married. She's still in Wilkes-Barre. She's married now to a Jesse Briggs. And they're still living on Davis Place. They're still living in the same place. It has duck down and is warm and light. Oh, one of those. Oh, yeah, I love those types of jackets. Absolutely. Do what you can to save that. Yeah, those types of jackets are nice. Okay. So their mother is living with them. After they married. She's 28. He's also 28. Okay, years married 5. So they've been married. Let's see. No, not going out with friends tonight. I mean, it's a Sunday night. I gotta work tomorrow. No, it's something else that I have to do. That I have to do. But no, it's yeah. I just wanted to. I didn't want to cancel stream or anything, so Clerk. County court? Is that court or school? Oh yeah, during the day, absolutely. Yeah, during the day, I absolutely meet up with people and stuff. But yeah, but in the evening like that, no, I gotta work. I gotta get up at 5. I get up at 5:30 a.m. to go to work, so I gotta go to bed at a decent time. Okay, so it looks like he was a he worked for he was a clerk. It looked like for the county, like the county court or something like that. I always say that, then it's 1:30 a.m. and I have to get up in 4 hours. Oh god, yeah, no, I'll admit every once in a while that happens to me, but like I try super hard not to do that. Especially because I hate sleeping in, personally. Cause like for me, sleeping past like 9:30, 10 o'clock is like, I feel like I'm wasting part of my day. Because like I said, I like daylight, I like seeing the sun, I like going outside and doing things. So I feel like if I sleep in that late, I'm wasting part of my day a lot of the times. "9:30 is your lane." Yeah, that's kind of my max, I would say. But I feel like, okay. If I sleep later than that, then like I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel bad, honestly. So yeah, so he's a clerk. And if he looks in the court, maybe that's where they met, because she's a stenographer. She's a stenographer, so maybe that's how they met. That'd be crazy if that's how they met. I get headaches if I sleep too long. Oh, I'm not at that point, thankfully, but I that just sounds horrible, to like sleep too long and get a headache. For me, it's more if I don't sleep enough, I get a headache. I have the opposite effect. Okay. Leslie and Jesse, here they are again. Okay, her mother isn't living with her anymore, so either she moved out or she's not alive anymore. It's 1920 now. Either way is possible. 38, 39. New York. Okay. Maybe this will have a clearer view of what he does. Clerk. Oh, clerk coal company. That's what that says. It's a coal company. It looks like in this one, it looks like county. It is a little hard to tell here, but like, okay, clerk for a coal company. I mean, it is Pennsylvania, so that makes sense. That would be coal. It's a side effect of having extreme aphantasia. Oh. Oh, wow. You have aphantasia. Oh, okay. So wait, so then do you I know aphantasia is like, when you're like awake and everything that you can't sleep, but does that mean, do you dream then if you have extreme aphantasia? Because like I remember when I discovered, like, you've never pictured anything in your head. See, to me, that's crazy, because I have a very vivid imagination, and like I can picture things in my head like I've never. Wow, yeah, like I don't know if I could live like that, like personally. But I guess, if you don't know any different, then like that's just what you know. That is a bonus. You've never had a nightmare. Wow. Hey, that's actually, you know what? That's not that bad. So then when you sleep, then is it just like you just close your eyes and then like it's like nothing happened? You just close your eyes and then you just wake up and it's the next day? Like no one, like, wow, huh? Because like for me, like I can picture things very clearly in my head. I can daydream. Like I daydream so hard. Like that was one of the things that like so when I used to work at one museum, I had to be like there was one part of the job where I had to be like stationed in this one gallery. At the beginning of the day, this would happen every once in a while where like with how my schedule was that I would be there, I'd be stationed there for like the beginning of the day, but it was far away enough in the museum that like for the first like hour, like nobody would be there. And so I just had the whole area to myself, and it'd be most of the time it'd be kind of boring, but I would literally just like sit there and just like daydream and just like my mind wander and stuff like that. And like it was a kind of a fun little exercise in that a little bit, you know. But yeah, no, my mind wanders like all the time, and I think like I can picture things. So wait, okay, then it's dark till I fall asleep, then I'm awake. Okay, so it's just nothing. So then, like, what about like memories? How do memories work in that case? Because I have a pretty good memory. Because like for me, I think I've talked about this before. Not all the time, but like a lot of time, like for like if I study like for a test when I was in school, something that I would do sometimes is that when I would recall the information, sometimes I would just recall it just from like knowing it, but also a way that I would recall it is I would actually like picture the image of the page of like the textbook that it was, like especially if it was like a science textbook and had like more distinct like images and stuff like that. I could like remember like the physical words on the page and picture the page in my head, and that's sometimes how I would recall the information. And yeah, I like, and also when I think of like movies, I can like, or when I think of memories, sorry, not movies. When I think of memories, I can picture them like it plays in my head like a movie, like a POV first person shot of like what happened. They're just facts. They're stored like ideas, no images. They work like pulling information of a text archive. Wow, that is interesting. That is very, very interesting. And like I said, to me that just blows my mind because I could never. Like that is we're the complete opposite in terms of that. But you don't see the text, it just appears as an idea in my brain. Wow. I can't I like it must have felt like crazy for like the first whoever like came up with the idea or what came up with I mean, aphantasia has probably been a thing throughout the course of human history, but to like really like truly like discover it and write it down and to talk to other people about how they picture things in their head and to discover that not everybody does it the same way, that must have been like a crazy thing to discover. I thought when people said just picture an apple, it was just a metaphor. Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah, no, that's I mean, yeah, hey, if you don't know, I mean, was it like when did you realize though that it was different though? Like how late in life did you discover that because I didn't learn about aphantasia until like a few years ago. Not till university. Wow. That's crazy. Hello, Shark Ray. Welcome on in. Good to see ya. Hope you're having a good day today. I will say I don't have full aphantasia, but an apple in my head isn't very detailed per se. Okay, yeah, because there's a chart. There's like a famous chart that's like the different degrees of like aphantasia. I forget. There's like different levels. It's very and like I'm the opposite of pirate. I'm the like I can very like clearly see everything. Like it's hold on, wait. Can I find that chart maybe? I know we're getting sidetracked, but it's all right. Hold on. Okay, hold on. I think this is it. Let's see. Here we go. Found it. This. Yeah, this is it. So I'm number one. I am number one in this case. Like I can see everything. Like yeah, I can picture it clearly. And what you're describing, Shark, is probably number two. Yeah. When me and a friend did a study for money for the psychology department, and we could not do it as we could not do the picturing part. Wow. Like it's odd. I can see details if I focus like zooming in on a camera, but if I'm picturing the whole object, it's hard to picture all the details without focusing. I have details, but not hyper-focused details. Interesting. Yeah, no, I think this type of thing is really fast because this is something that now that I know about aphantasia, what I used to always, because maybe this is why I like, history and museums so much, because this is something that I do when I go to a museum, especially a history museum, and they have historical objects or historical things on display. When I look at the object, I picture a little movie in my head of that object being used. Like somebody, like I picture in my head the people, however many years ago it was, using that object. Like basically giving context for the historical context for the object in my head. I play like a little movie in my head of like that object being used. That's how and that's why I think why I connect personally like so well with like history in the past and everything like that, because I am able to picture it in that way. Like I like for example, okay, the one that I think of, and actually maybe Pirate, you'll actually maybe know where I'm talking about. I remember at the Imperial War Museum in London, they have an area in there that's like a recreation of like a it's the World War One section where they have stuff like they have like the recreation of like a trench and stuff like that. I remember they have one of the things they had on display was like a tiny framed photograph of a soldier's wife, and I remember looking at it and I would picture in my head the guy, the husband, sitting in a trench holding the picture in his hand and looking at it, you know, like while he's sitting in the trenches and everything. Like that's what I do with historical objects when I see them in a museum. And that's kind of why, like, I think why I'm able to, like, I connect so much with the past and with historical people, because I try to put myself in their perspective. My wife has super picturing in her head like you, so we see the world in completely different ways. Yeah, and it's good that you guys know that and you can understand that, because I feel like if you didn't, like before, like aphantasia was like really super well known about, like that was probably super frustrating for people to like not understand like why they couldn't see a certain thing or why they thought a certain way. I do wonder via questions though, exactly like how would people use this? How would people see this? Okay, yeah, so you're more like text based than like visual, I would say. Oh, and something else that I learned um uh is that with aphantasia, something that I learned is that a lot of animators, so cartoonists and like animators and maybe even some artists, a lot of animators have aphantasia. A lot of animators have aphantasia, and I think part of that is because they don't picture anything in their head. They don't have like that standard or that thought of like, oh, what is this supposed to look like? And so they're able to work through it. And I think that's they're able to look for reference, something like that, and they're not super bogged down. Animators like don't get super bogged down on like trying to translate exactly what's in their head onto the paper, because that's something that I struggle with. And I think that's possibly why, because I can't do art. I have the artistic skills of a cow, I like to say. I have the artistic skills of a cow, and I think part of it is because I can picture what I want to draw or what I want to make clearly in my head. But because I can't translate that onto the page or whatever I'm looking at, uh like that's I get frustrated, and then I just don't want to do it because I can't do like, you know, and drawing is a skill that it takes. Drawing well takes like, you know, lots of time to like master and stuff like that, like, and to be really good at it. But I think that is part of it for me, is that because like I can't just picture something in my head and try and draw it. If I'm following a tutorial, I can do all right. But if it's just off the cuff, I can't do it. The most thing I know about the Imperial War Museum is the squirrels outside are deadly. They go for all foods, and they stole my damn cake from the picnic bench outside. Oh no! Oh, it's like the squirrels in there's the squirrels in where is it? Yosemite Valley National Park in the United States. They're like known. They're very. If you notice if you go there, you'll notice the squirrels are very big. They're big squirrels, and they will go for anything. They have no fear of humans. Yeah. Recently with drawing, that's something I've struggled with. Yeah, no, art is one of those things that like I wish I could do it, but like I don't know what it is. I just, you know, it's one of those skills that like I don't have anything close to that. Makes sense. I would also bet a lot of comedians have it as well, because they can't see the things they say if they're making terrible jokes. Maybe, yeah, I could kind of see that too. Although maybe, or that could also just be ego. That could also, I feel like, just be ego, because they think they're so good that they don't realize that they're bombing or they're telling bad jokes. That might just be ego, actually. But yeah, all right. Shoot. Okay, we've gotten very distracted here talking about aphantasia. But this is cool. I really like this. This is fun. Okay, where were we? Oh yeah, here. All right, so this is the 1920 census that we were looking at. So we see here Leslie and Jesse again. Yeah, okay, yeah, this is where we figured out that he was a clerk for a coal company. Let's see. And it looks like they don't have any kids. Yeah, there's no kids here, and they would have had, if they had kids here, they would have had them by now, possibly. Okay, so 1920, and then 1930. Oop. Here we go. I read that some squirrels are becoming carnivorous in Central Park because of their access to more meat, and they've been killing and eating other mammals. Jesus. Well, I think that's also like the rats in New York, too. Like, that's famous for, like, the rats in New York being like that. Okay, here, they're still in Wilkes-Barre. Okay, so they still lived in the area. So they still lived in the area. It's 1930. Let's see, 50. Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania, New York, New York. What the heck is that? What does that say? Sealer weight something? Let's see. Sealer? Is that Sealer? Sealer weights? It looks like a museum almost, but I don't think that is museum. State Department. So they work for the State Department. Hey, Coco, welcome on in. How are you doing? Hope you're having a good night. It's simply animals adapting to the pressure of humans, which is very scary, but also interesting. It is. I mean, it's evolution. They're adapting, you know. And it is crazy that, like, you know, you put them in a, when you create an urban setting like that, you're going to create that type of setting for an animal. Okay. Well, what is it? Sealer weights? Is that what that says? Let me Google that real quick. Oh, it's like a government position. State Department. Oh, sealer weights and measures. That's what it says there. Sealer of weights and measures. Okay, it's like a local government position where they're in charge of yeah, just maintaining standard weights and measurements. Yeah, they enforce. Okay, according to this thing for the Massachusetts government. Yeah. They conduct. Yeah, they enforce accuracy requirements and other standards relating to weight, weighing, and measuring devices and their use in the sale of goods. Okay. Okay. So that answers that. So that's what he is. He's that. Maybe for like this local, I mean, State Department. So maybe he's like it for this area, this part of Pennsylvania. Because they're not that far. Wilkes-Barre is not that far at all from Tacanic. In fact, actually, hold on. Let me... pull up Google Maps real quick. Yeah. Yeah, so Tacanic is here, where the photo was taken and where everybody's from. And Wilkes-Barre is, yeah, down here. Wilkes-Barre is down here. And right by, not far from Scranton. Okay. But I think if I remember correctly, is this the last census we have for her? Yeah, that's it. 1930 is the last one. Okay, so then let's look at... let's look at this marriage record. Okay, hold on. Where's... there they are. Jesse Briggs. Jesse Briggs, born in... Nebraska? Middletown? Middletown, Nebraska? Is that what it looks like? And then Leslie, yeah, Leslie Josephine Chase, Tacanic, Pennsylvania, residing in Wilkes-Barre. Okay. So they got married in 1905. 18th of March, 1905. What does that say? Wait, what does it say his occupation is? Phenographer? What is a phenographer? Or is that stenographer? I think it's supposed to be stenographer because nothing comes up when you look up phenographer. I think it... oh, wait, yeah, I think it is stenographer. Okay. That's all it is. Okay. Hold on. Sorry, I just need to adjust something really quick. Okay. Okay, yeah, so I think that does say I think that is actually supposed to be stenographer. Which is also interesting because if he's a stenographer, she was a stenographer too. In the before they got married, she was also a stenographer. Right here. So maybe that's how they met. Maybe that's how they met. Okay. All right, I'm going to hold off doing research for a little bit because we do have ads starting soon. And I don't want to miss anything. So yeah, we do have ads starting in a little bit. I think, yeah, all right. I'll hold off on looking at any new documents for now until the ads are done. So go ahead, use this time if you want to get up and stretch, drink some water, go to the bathroom, any of the classic stuff. Recommend doing it now. Yeah, because ads are going to start like any second now for you guys. All right, yeah, I'm actually going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and stand up real quick. All right, back here now. Ads are going right now, so we'll wait. Once those are done, we'll continue with researching this. So I think now that we've seen her marriage record, there's not really much else here, though. We do have a city directory, which I'm gonna look up city directories. It's probably gonna be under her married name. So what I'm gonna do is, once we go through everything on here, or once we go through the city directory on this page, I'm gonna go look at the city directories, like look through city directories here with her married name, and see if we can find anything. Because there's not much else here. Because I think I saw a thing that unfortunately she did pass. Oh wait, no, yeah, and we also have this church records right here too. Actually, let's look at that first, and then we'll look at the city directory. And I have no idea in terms of like newspaper records what we're gonna find. And also, what I want to find is I want to find out who her father is. Because according to this census record, we don't know. So I'm gonna have to look up probably her mother, Martha. And figure that out too. What I might also do is look up what Jesse's census record for 1900 and see what he was doing at that time, and see if he was again also a stenographer. Because if they were, that would explain again how they probably met. All right, yep, ads are done. Great. All right, great to have you guys back. All right, so let's go ahead and continue where we left off. So we saw this marriage record. Next, I want to look at this Pennsylvania, New Jersey church and town records. I have no idea what this is going to be. Oh, is this also their marriage record? Register of marriages. Okay, where... There she is. Jesse Briggs and Leslie Chase, both living in Wilkes-Barre. March 22nd, 05. Mrs. M.J. Chase. Wait, what is that? Name of witnesses. Oh, okay. So their mother. Her mother was a witness. Okay. So yeah, so this is just another marriage record here. And then let's look at this city directory. Let's see. Okay, yeah, this is 1901, and this says stenographer. Yeah, Leslie Chase, stenographer. Oh, stenographer for coal exchange. Not for a court. He's for... So not for like... I was thinking for like a... I mean, when you think of stenographer, you think of like a court. But she was a stenographer for like a coal company. In 73 Davis Place. That is where she lived. Okay, so hold on. I want to look up here real quick. Directories. Hold on. Looks like they lived in Wilkes-Barre, so I'll do Wilkes-Barre. Let's see. Hello. Oh my god, I'm so sorry if I pronounced Bibinka Bear. I hope I'm saying that right. Hello, welcome on. Oh, you found me from Al. That's awesome. From the good old man himself. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like a majority of my followers are probably from his shoutouts, which I greatly appreciate. But hello, welcome on in. So okay, so to catch you up to speed a little bit. So I'm currently working on a big project right now, where I bought. Let's see. Oh, hello, Sparkly Anarchy. Welcome on in. Hope you're having a good day. Binka is fine as well. Okay, good, great. Glad I said it right. Okay, so, what I am currently doing is, oh god, sorry, Victorian child jump scare. We are researching this photo. I bought this photo when I was visiting family at Christmas time at an antique store. This is a birthday party photo from 1888. And this photograph is unique because on the back of it, this is a, here you go, hold on. This is a picture of the back of it right here. It has a list and corresponding number of every single person in the photo. And so what I am doing right now is trying to find everybody in this photograph using genealogy research. I'm trying to research and find everybody, all 24 people that are listed in this photo. So far, we have researched numbers 1 through 13. We have found numbers 1 through 13. And we are currently researching number 14, who is the photograph you see above me here. That is, according to the back of the photo, number 14 there. they believe it's a girl named Leslie Chase. However, unfortunately, because she did the cardinal sin of moving when the photo was taken, her face is blurry. So even the people who were like recording who was in the photo didn't know exactly if it was her. But yeah, so far we found we're on number 14, so we're over halfway there, which is crazy because we've been working on this for like over a month and a half at this point. Also, I have here, just to give you another idea, this is like a spreadsheet I've made of like everyone that we found so far. Just with some basic information of like, birth dates, their parents' names, their death dates, who if they married, if they had any kids, what their jobs were, stuff like that. And we've found some pretty crazy stories so far. For example, let's see, Marion Metcalf here. She ended up actually marrying a gold medal Olympic sprinter who competed in the 1900 Paris Olympic Games. Let's see. Eliza Furman, that stream was absolutely crazy because we discovered that Furman is not her birth last name. She was actually adopted. And also that she was also almost run over by a train when she was 2 years old. Let's see. Helen Lewis. Was it Helen Lewis? I think it was her. Yes. Helen Lewis had the awful luck of dying on her birthday after getting hit by a truck on her birthday. Mary Baldwin, her father owned a local newspaper in the town, and we found several newspaper articles where he was calling out the other newspapers in the local area and basically having like beef wars back and forth with the other newspapers. And that's those are like the main ones. Yeah, it's been some absolutely crazy stuff. And so yeah, now we're trying to learn about Leslie right now. We found her census records. We found her census records. And her marriage records. We know she married a man by the name of Jesse Briggs in 1905. And then that he was a clerk for a coal company. And we just now made the discovery that before they got married, Leslie was also a stenographer. And for right here, it says coal exchange. So it's possible that that's how they met, is that they met while working at this coal exchange and while they were both stenographers. These stories are so intriguing. I know. I mean, that's why I do it. You truly never know what you're gonna find when you do this stuff, and that's just stories from this project. I've done research on like other photographs, like antique photos that I've bought at antique stores. Like some of those stories have been crazy too. Is the photo of all these individuals at a school as kids, or we don't know for sure? Oh, yes, I think I forgot to mention that. So actually, we do know where this photo was taken. On the back here, it says on the front too, but the back one is clearer. So we know that this photo was taken July 13th, 1888, and it was specifically for, right there, Eleanor Metcalf's birthday party. So Eleanor Metcalf is number 21 in the photo. And let's see, hold on. Where is she in this one? Yeah, so 21 right there she's 21 in the photo. So it's her birthday party. This is her birthday party in 1888. And I believe she was 8 years old, I think. So cool how a single photo from a birthday party can lead to so many different stories. Oh yeah, no, it is. It's so crazy. Just how many different. It's like honestly, it's kind of like, what's that Offspring song the kids aren't all right. It's kind of like that. I mean, not as terrible as like the things that happened in that like song, but like it's kind of like that idea of just all these, you know, this one photo of all these kids and learning what happened to all of them. Um, and I've kind of, you mentioned that, like, you know, if this is a school photo or something like that, that is actually something before I found this photo, that was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to find like, a school photo, like a class photo from, like, you know, like around this time period, from like 1900 or something like that. And then do research all the entire class, and again just kind of see what happened to everybody. So maybe I'll do that at some point in the future, but right now this is the main project. But yeah, so what I was gonna do is I was gonna look at city directories. I want to apply it specifically to this place so that way narrow it down. Okay. Okay, so we have a couple city directories from her. Let's see. Hello, Monarch. Welcome on in. Hope you're having a good evening. How are you doing? Let's see. Okay, so let's look at these city directory. Let's look at this one from 1899 because it's the oldest one. Okay, there she is, Leslie. Okay, she's not working yet. Oh, no, yeah, she wouldn't be working. 1899, she's a student still. Yeah, because in the 1900 census, she's 18? 19? Yeah, 19. So yeah, so she's still 18, so she's probably still in school. Okay, so yeah, so that's why. Very cool to see your research methodology as well. Makes for a comfy atmosphere. Thank you. I'm glad. That's my goal. I hope that, you know, just creating a cool, nice atmosphere where people can, like, you know, see these cool stories get uncovered. And just, you know, kind of chill and relax. Nothing too crazy. Okay, let's see. This one. Okay, this one, yeah. Yeah, stenographer, coal exchange. Yeah, so basically the same. And let's look at that. Okay, this is the last one. Let's see if this says anything different. No, it just says stenographer for this one. Okay. So now, though, let's change it to Briggs, because that's her married name. See if we can find more. Oh, interesting. Only one comes up. County, maybe? Does that change it at all? No, it doesn't. Did they not start work at 14 back then? I'm not I'm not entirely sure what you're asking or talking about, Monarch. Or is it because it's the number 14 on the person above me? That's just because she's the 14th person we're researching. We've already researched 13 other people, which again just feels crazy to say. Okay, yeah, 27 Academy, spouse Jesse Briggs. Okay, Deputy County Controller. Okay, so that's what he's doing during this time. This is 1925, so this is in between these. So in 1920, he's still a clerk for the coal company. And in 1930 is when he's the sealer of weights and measurements for the State Department. So this one is probably like what he was doing in between then. Deputy County Controller. So he's the county controller. Okay, if I change it to Jesse... Actually, well, hold on. What was Jesse's birth year? 1877. Okay. Okay, so 1877. Did Jesse like this, or was it IE? Like that, okay. Oh, there's a lot. Okay, okay, here we go. 1898. Okay, 1900. I want to see this one because I want to see where he's working. If it says. Where is he? Ah. Okay, this says he's a carpenter. Now, that could be the wrong Jesse Briggs. There could be, because Jesse Briggs is a common enough name that there could be more than one. Hold on, let me change the date. Like, what about this one from 1901? Okay, no, that's the same. Oh, wait, Jesse A. Briggs. I think that's him. Wait, what did I... Where'd he go? Is it this one? Yeah, I think it's this one. Jesse, I think that's him. Jesse A. Briggs. Yes, okay, yeah, there are two. Look, this. Okay, look, there are two Jesse Briggses. Jesse Briggs, carpenter, and Jesse Briggs, student. And Jesse A. Briggs, the student, is the one that we're looking for. So these ones that we found that were a carpenter, that's not him. I was curious what you do when you get a really common name for any of these folks, or does location help narrow things down? So yes, location is the biggest thing, but honestly, it gets to a point where like sometimes I avoid like super common names because it is, especially if they're living somewhere like for example, I won't, a lot of times if I come across somebody that like I'm thinking about researching, but I find out that like if the main information I have is that they lived in New York City in like 1900 and they have like a Irish sounding last name or just a, a generic name, I won't research them because it's impossible at that point, if that's all you have, to determine which person with that name is the one that you're looking for. Honestly, the thing that helps the most is knowing spouses or any other family members around them, because you can like, that helps narrow it down, because it's like, oh, that they have, say, like a sibling with a certain name, or their father or their mother was a certain name. Then you can narrow it down, like what the family unit. If you have the family unit, you can kind of help like narrow it down that way. Or if they marry somebody specifically. Same with that too. Also, but location, yes, location helps a lot. Unless I was just saying that, like, if it's somewhere, a big city like New York City or Los Angeles. And let's see what else. There was something else. Birth date also really helps. Birth date is very important because that helps you know the age of the person, and you can narrow things down that way. Like we just did with these two Briggses. We know that this Jesse Briggs would be a student during this time. So we know that this is him. This is him. The right one that we're looking for. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I don't want any of these 71s. Okay, here we go. Here's a 1900 one for Jesse A. Briggs. Stenographer. Where is he working? Where is he working? Oh, it doesn't say. Dang it. POV, you encountered John Smith Jr., son of John Smith from Massachusetts. Oh god, that would be a nightmare. There was one time we were trying to research somebody, and it wasn't even a common name. I thought it was like, I had never heard of this like last name before. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember it was like a fairly normal, or like a fairly like, unique, not you like unique sounding name. And we tried to find them, and then we discovered that there were 3 people in the town, and it wasn't a big town either. It was like less than 100,000 people. That there were 3 people in that town with the same name, living there at the same time. And I had to stop. Like I couldn't 100%. I didn't have enough other information to confirm which one was which. If I change it to A, will that make it so that there we go. Okay, here's all the Jesse Briggs. 16. Okay, what about this 1901? Stenographer, but where? Come on, give me the coal exchange. No, okay. Stenographer for a railway station. Okay, but not the... Okay, so if he's not there in 1901... Let me change it to this. 1902? Jesse A. Briggs. Okay, let's see this one. Okay, this says... It just says clerk now. Oh, shoot, I just realized... Okay, oh boy, I just realized something. Okay, so the fact that we know for sure now that there are 2 Jesse Briggses in this area, that means when we start looking at newspapers, it's going to be also super difficult to figure out which one is which. That's going to make this a really... Unless he goes by Jesse A in the newspapers, it's going to be very hard to determine what, what his name is. Okay, so he's not working there in 1902. What about 1903? Okay, stenographer. Just says stenographer. 1903. $1904. Okay. Let's try this one. Okay, Lehigh Valley Coal Company. Okay. Lehigh Valley Coal Company, 1904. Did we have a 1904 directory for Leslie? But I mean, okay, I'm pretty sure this had to have been how they met, because the one we have here from 1902, stenographer coal exchange. That had to be That had to be it. So I go back to Leslie. $1880. Let's see. It just reminded me of a guy I knew in middle school who shared the same legal name as his dad and 4 brothers. They informally used nicknames at home to avoid confusion, but wow, that is insane. That is absolutely insane. Okay, yeah, so the 1903 one was the last one that we have from her. And yeah, it just says stenographer. So they probably, I'm going to assume that they met at work because they were both at stenographers at like coal exchange, like coal companies, stuff like that. It doesn't look like they were like stenographers specifically. They might not work specifically for the same company, but they were in the same field at least. So I think that's likely how they met. Okay. Next thing I wanted to look at really quick is I want to find out what happened to her father. Because the first census we have for Leslie is 1900 census. That's the first one we have. And unfortunately, by then, her father had passed away, and it was just her mother. She was living with her mother. So if I go to Martha here, go to the 1880 census. We can find out. Here we go. Yeah, 1880 census. We can find out who her father is. Here we go. Henry Chase, Martha, and okay, she has a older brother named Harry. Well, her parents were older when she was born. Huh. Trying to do research with having the same name for like 3 or more generations sucks. Yeah, it can get very, very confusing. I will admit though, when I have come across like juniors and stuff like that, most like at least in terms of like newspapers and stuff like that, they're very good at putting the junior, even when like the senior has died, they still put junior. So it's actually, it can be difficult, but personally, I haven't had that much difficulty. It's more difficult when you have people with the same name and they aren't related. That's where it's difficult. That's the worst thing by far. Oh, and her father was a doctor. Doctor of medicine. Wow. Oh, lords. Okay, yeah, that makes sense with lords. Lords are like a whole. That's like it's a whole other category in and of itself. Okay, so now we know. Not only do we know that we know now her father's name is Henry, and she has a brother, an older brother named Henry or Harry. God, even I'm getting confused now. So we're Just as we're talking about like, getting confused with names, it's happening to me right now in real time. Sometimes the information got mixed up, and there were like made two people out of one, or combined two into one. Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Older records, especially like that, when you're like looking at like lords and stuff like that, can be such a pain for like finding that kind of stuff. Okay. What was? Okay. So now we know. Now we found Harry. We found Harry. But what happened to Henry? Do we have his death certificate? Oh, veteran schedule. Oh, he served in the Union for the Civil War. Civil War muster roll. Wow. Draft registrations. Okay, burial cards. Okay, and he was a doctor. Maybe he was a doctor in the war. Oh, and he's buried. Okay, he's buried in Tacanic in Sunnyside Cemetery. When did he die? Does it say? Oh, it doesn't say. Civil War organizations, Company H, 50th Regiment, New York Engineers. Okay, so he's buried. He's buried in the Tacanic Cemetery. Do we have a death certificate for him? There's a death certificate here, but I don't know if that's his. Because this is Leslie. Okay, yeah, no, this is Leslie's death certificate. He's just on it. Okay, we might have to look to see if we can find a newspaper obituary for him. Okay. Because there doesn't seem to be one here. So, okay, so I think the final thing we'll look at here for Leslie, now that we got all this other information, is let's look at her... Should we do death certificate or grave? Let's do death certificate first. Let's look at her death certificate and see what happened. Okay, she was fairly young, 49. April of 1930. Wait. When was that 1930 census taken? Whoa. This census record was made on April 9th. 4 days before she died. Wow. That's crazy. Four-day. Okay, something must have happened. Let's see. Okay, let's see if we can figure out. All right, so Leslie Briggs. Yep, living in Wilkes-Barre still. 127 Academy Street. Yep, that's the thing we see all the time. Female, white, married. Jesse A. Yeah, Briggs. Date of birth, October 21st, 1880. 49 years old. Occupation of deceased, housewife. Pennsylvania. Name of father, Harry Chase. Maiden name of mother, Martha Sherville? Informant was Jesse. April... Okay, yeah, date of death, April 13th, 1930. Cause of death is as followed. Oh, God. That's the problem. It's like written in like doctor. No autopsy or anything like that. But it says okay, arteri ar, arterio SCL. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can try Googling this and maybe Google like autocorrect will help me get it. Okay, arteriosclerosis? Sclerosis? I think that's what it is. Arteriosclerosis. A thickening and hardening of the walls of the artery, typically during old age. So it's like a buildup. It's basically clogged arteries. It's clogged arteries with like cholesterol and stuff. Interesting. Okay, so she must have had a very early case of it. She was only 49. She was only 49 years old. And from the looks of it, she didn't have any kids either. Wow. Okay, and then the last thing we'll look at here, we'll go to our good old favorite website here, Find a Grave. Leslie Chase Briggs. And look at that. Buried in Sunnyside Cemetery in Taconic, Wyoming County, Pennsylvania. So far, of like the 14 people we've... Actually, wait, hold on. No, I can count how many. How many people have we researched so far that have been buried in that cemetery? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. And then this one makes 10. So 10 of the 14 people we've looked at are buried in the same cemetery. It goes to show that, like, you know, I guess the sense of community that these people had. But yeah, and that's all we have here. Sometimes, you know, people will put they'll put what's it called? Like little like obituaries or like little information stuff like that here. We got nothing. And he lived until 1946. He's also buried in Taconic, Sunnyside Cemetery. Okay, so yeah, the Find a Grave here doesn't really have much information other than like a picture of the actual like grave itself, which looks like it's been seen better days. Okay. So I think now what I want to do is quickly go, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. get rid of all these. Here we go. I want to go here real quick. Somebody looks like made like a profile for her. And I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. And a lot of newspaper. Oh, wow, they put a lot of newspaper articles in here. Well, we're going to look up newspaper articles, so. Is there anything in gallery? Okay, again, it's just the newspapers that we're about to look at, so. Oh, look, okay, yeah, this makes sense, because we did find that one census record that said that her mother, Martha, did have a kid that didn't survive. And that's this one, Walter. Okay. So now that we've, yeah, there's nothing really new here that we haven't already seen. So let's go ahead then. We're going to move on to looking at newspapers. And we're going to see what we can find. So we'll start first. Oop, with Leslie Chase, with her maiden name. She was born 1880, so we'll go 1880 to 1900. Because remember, there's not that many for the beginning. And we'll start with Wyoming County, because I don't know when they moved. Sort by oldest first. Okay, so right off the bat, we got 16 for this period. Oh, wait, hold on. Did we see the date? Hold on, wait. If we go... Oh, wait, no, yeah, her father's not listed here. Yeah, we still don't know officially the date yet of when her father died. So that's something we're going to have to look for. All right, so let's see. Okay, so first thing we're off back here. Leslie, Dr. Chase's little girl, has been quite sick for a week or two past, but is now improving. She's 3. Okay, yeah, she's 3 years old at this point. She's 3 years old at this point. And her father, at least here, is referred to as Dr. Chase. We'll see if there's more at different dates, but yeah. Because the next thing isn't until 1886. Mrs. E.M. Phillips, accompanied by Leslie Chase, is visiting Mrs. J.W. Dinsmore at Nichols, New York. Okay. Now, there is a possibility that there could be another Leslie Chase, but I don't think it is. I don't think there is in this case. It could be, she is 6 years old at this point, but, Okay, these ones. Okay. So these next 2 articles here, they're actually the same article, and I know that because we've had these articles show up at least 4 times, I think, at this point, because this article right here, it is a list of an event from the Young People's Society of Christian Endeavor, a ladies group, and it's a program for all the people who are going to perform and sing, and 4 people from the photograph are in this newspaper article. We have Leslie right here. She's apparently going to do a recitation of a thing called Daisy's Faith. But right here we have, so Helen Lewis, Grace Dalrymple, Amy Brown, and Ruth Hodley. All 5 of them are in the photograph. And I think Leslie is the last one on in this program that we're researching. Yeah. Yeah, really goes to show. It really goes to show like how connected everybody was in this community. That, 5 people from one photograph are in one newspaper article. Okay, this next one is from June. Okay, the entertainment given by the Young People's Society of Christian Endeavor at the Opera House last Friday evening is spoken of in a most complimentary manner by all who attended, and the house was well filled. The several parts were taken in a very pleasing manner, and especially do the little girls, Leslie Chase and Grace Dalrymple, deserve mention for the remarkable manner in which they carried out their part of the program. Okay, so we've already researched Grace. We've already researched Grace from this one. And now we have Leslie. They specifically got shouted out for their performance in that program. Oh, look at this. This is sweet. Last Friday night, Leslie Chase celebrated her 12th birthday with a party of little friends at her home on Bridge Street. Bridge Street. Okay, wait, hold on. So they're still living in Tacanic at that point. Bridge Street. Is Bridge Street here? Oh yeah, Bridge Street. Okay, that's the main street going through this way. So she lived somewhere along here. Possibly one of these houses. Unfortunately, we don't have the exact address, so we don't know. One way that we might be able to figure it out is if her father had a doctor's office, if he was a home doctor, if he had an office at his house, then maybe it might say, but otherwise. However, I also discovered while doing research that like during this time, before when Dr. Chase was alive, most houses didn't have street numbers. They didn't have address numbers. So that in that case, it actually makes it very difficult to determine which house they lived in. Actually, wait, that reminds me, we forgot to look. Before we continue on with more newspapers, something else I also do is that if we have an address, and we do in this case, for when they lived in Wilkes-Barre, I like to look up and see if we can find the house that they used to live in. Okay, so Davis Place. 73 Davis Place is where they used to look. Yep, it is map time. 73 Davis Place, Wilkes-Barre. Oh. That looks like it. Oh, no street view? Oh, no street view on that specific, like on that street in particular. Hold on, wait. If we look down that street. I think it's this house right here. That's like kind of blocked. Oh, that's a different. Yeah, that's a different house. So yeah, it's this one right here. So they lived in this house. And then after she got married, they moved to, what was it? Academy Street, 127 Academy. It looks like 127 is an apartment because there are all these families here living at this one location. So 127 Academy Street. 127. Oop. 127 Academy Street. Oh, wow. She moved. Wow, she moved so far. She moved literally a block and a half. It doesn't. Hold on. Oh God. There we go. It doesn't look like it's there anymore. Oh, okay. They probably lived here. Yeah, this is likely where they lived in apartments above these shops. Looks like it's been kind of seen better days, but you know, must make for a relatively easy moving experience. Oh yeah, I mean, they literally they had to cross this intersection here and came from they came from right here. So, yeah, they came down this street, down this sidewalk, crossed this street, and then went into this building here. Building doesn't look that old. No, I think it does. It like what makes it maybe not look old is like some of the painting and some of like this. They painted the brick. Oh, I'm looking closer at it. They painted like just part of it. It's like they started painting it and then they just gave up. Like they ran out of money. Look at that. Hold on, wait. Are there other years for this street view? 2020. 2019. Yeah, between 2019 and 2020, they started painting it and then they stopped. Maybe because of COVID. Maybe they started painting it. COVID happened and everybody, you know, went into lockdown and stuff, and then they just never finished it. But I think what makes part of the building not look as old is that how they painted the brick, like here and everything, and these like shop fronts. But at this part and like this like rooftop lining right here, this is definitely a building that's at least 100 years old. So I think this fits the time period that they would have been living here. Oh, whoa, and there was a building here. I traveled back in time. This is 2012. So we're back in 2012. How far back can we go? 2000. Okay, 2008. Yeah, it looks like the neighborhood's been seeing better days. This map part reminds me. Are you familiar with Time Guesser? Oh, am I familiar with Time Guesser? Oh, buddy, I've done whole streams of Time Guesser. I love Time Guesser. I haven't done it that recently, but no. Oh, I am very familiar with Time Guesser. I love Time Guesser. It's one of my favorite. And I'm thinking about doing I also want to maybe start streaming a little bit on like not on these research streams, but maybe doing some GeoGuessr. Because I do like GeoGuessr too. Probably didn't get the money to sustain due to the pandemic. Yeah, that's probably it, honestly. It's just that they just ran out of money. Paint really is a facelift for a building. It really does. Yeah, that's all it takes sometimes is that or just put new siding on it. They could have like, you know, they paint it, or they could have just covered up the brick and put like some like cheap plastic siding on it or something like that, and it makes the building look older. Okay. We do have ads are going to be starting in a little bit. So, I won't do any more research with the newspapers until till we're done with ads, so that way you guys don't miss anything. So yeah, we'll be... I'll wait for the ads to be done, and then I'll continue looking at these. Okay. All right. Sure, like look at the windows to guess how old the house... Yeah, oh yeah, windows are a big thing. These types of windows, like these kind of like bay windows right here, are very very telling of the age of the building. It looks very turn of the century. Like probably 1900 roughly. So it wasn't super old when they moved in, roughly. But you can definitely tell this neighborhood has seen better days. This part of the town. Also, oh yeah, look at the lining right there. Look at that detail. You can see in the roof line. I know that has a name, but I'm like blanking on it. Hold on, wait. What is it called? It's not a finial. Right? Is it a cornice? I thought cornice was like... Okay, it is a cornice. I thought it was called something else. I thought the cornice was like a... Oh no, that's a pediment. I was thinking of like the triangle, like shaped, like decorative element on like old, like, you know, like temples and stuff like that. But no, it is a cornice. Okay, so that's what this is called. This is a cornice. Okay. All right, I'm actually, while the ads are going right now, first I'm going to get a drink of water, and then I'm going to stand up real quick. And also, I need to turn on my light. The sun went down since I started stream, and now it's like insanely... I forgot to turn a light on in my room, and now it's really dark. All right, I'll be right back. All right. All right, I think the ad should be ending pretty soon, and we'll get started where we left off with the newspapers. All right, ad should be done now. So let's go ahead and let's head on over back to newspapers. So the last one that we looked at, yeah, was these ones with Grace and everything and her celebrating her birthday. So then let's look at this next one. So 1893, year later is the next one. Oh, hold on, what is Orphans Court? Orphans Court? Wait a second. What? Upon petition, E.M. Phillips appointed guardian of Leslie Chase and bond in sum of $2,000 approved. E.M. Phillips, her mother is still alive though. Right? That is her. Her mother is still alive. Also, wasn't there that one? Yeah. Mrs. E.M. Phillips, accompanied by Leslie Chase, is visiting. So this one right here, this is the one we looked at earlier. She was with the Mrs. E.M. Phillips. And then this one, E.M. Phillips is appointed guardian. I wonder, I guess maybe Martha needed some help. Maybe Martha couldn't fully support Leslie, and they were close family friends. Oh, look at this. Leslie Chase and Lillian Heckman were in Scranton over Sunday. That's interesting because Lillian is the person next to Leslie in the photo. Hold on. Oh, wait, no, not that one. This one. So she's number 15. Apparently. Yeah, that's number... So she's number 15 in that, Lillian. And that photo was taken in 1888, and this newspaper article is from 5 years later. So that, again, goes to show that they stayed friends. Look at that. This is from August of 1893. Okay, Little Mrs. Grace Carrington, Leslie Chase, Mary Baldwin, who is also in the photograph. We've researched her already. Marjorie DeWitt and Ruth Pyatt entertained their young friends on Monday afternoon with a program of singing, charades, recitations, dialogues, and tableaux. I think I'm saying that right. Okay. Oh, wait, is this another... Hold on, wait. This is another one with Lillian? Yeah, look at that. This is a year later. Her and Lillian. This time going to Wilkes-Barre. Look at that. Okay, this one's 1896. Miss Leslie Chase came up from Wilkes-Barre last week for a visit among her former mates and has been stopping at the home of her uncle, T.B. Grenville. Okay, so by 1896, between 1896 and 1894 is when they moved. That's the point where they moved, and they moved to Wilkes-Barre. Because it's saying here that she came from Wilkes-Barre to visit Tacanic, to visit her friends there. Yeah, and this is saying the same thing. Miss Leslie Wilkes-Barre spent the past week visiting friends at this place. Okay, what is this one? Leslie Chase, minor. Court direct allowance of $50 for... I think it's supposed to be education, or is that education? Hold on, wait. Is that a court term that I don't know? Ad... Or do they just misspell education? I think they just misspelled education. Yeah, that's all they did. They just misspelled education. Okay, but she got... Why did she get it, though? For education support. I guess her family was still struggling after her father died. Oh, wait, maybe this will explain it more. In Reguardian, to use money to support and educate Leslie E. Chase, petition authorized to pay to Mrs. H.W. Chase the sum of $50 money expended. Okay, yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's her mother, Mrs. H.W. Chase. That's him, or that's her. Huh. Let's see, is this another one about her visiting relatives? Yep, it is. Visiting relatives. And this one is... Yep, visiting her uncle. Okay. Now I want to change it so that it's not just Wyoming County. Oh boy, there's a lot here. Oh, wow. 1896. From 1896 onward is when because that's when she moved. Okay, but this is all the same article. Oh, wait, hold on. What does this say? Oh, okay. Hold on, wait. Yeah, Miss Leslie Chase, who recently removed with her people to Wilkes-Barre, is visiting her many friends in town. Okay. There we go. So right here. So 1896. That's officially the year that she moved to Wilkes-Barre. Came up from Wilkes-Barre last week to present at the examination at the high school. Okay. Guardian money. This is the Guardian money stuff. Guardian money. Visiting town. What is this? High school graduates. Okay, those who will be lucky enough to get a diploma. The graduating class of the high school this year numbers 112, 13 more than last year. The graduates were given a thorough examination, and the following were recommended for diplomas or promotion. Several more may be added for the time of commencement exercises. Yeah, that makes sense. May of 1898. Yeah, she'd be 18 years old. Or almost 18. And yeah, there she is. Right here. In the commercial department. Whatever that means. Yeah, see, these are just repeats of the same article. That's something when you look at newspapers that you kind of have to, like, know when to skip over certain ones. I've gotten to a point where like I can look at some of these thumbnails and be like, okay, yeah, I know that's an article that I've already seen, or that's something that's not going to be super relevant to what we're doing. Yeah, this is saying the graduates again. I'll just double check this one just to make sure. Commercial graduates, yeah. This is that. This is a more detailed example of what's going on specifically with them. Okay. Yeah, June of 1898, June of 1898. All of these. That's what a majority of these are. They're literally all just her getting her degree or getting her high school diploma. Leslie Chase of Wilkes-Barre arrived in town yesterday with... Okay, yeah, no. That's just her visiting people. What is this? March of 1899. Current events. A novel plan to keep the members of the club well informed upon all branches of current events has been inaugurated, and the following committees have been appointed to observe and report at each meeting. Okay, and so she's part of the domestic affairs part of it. Interesting. So this looks like it's like a... Is it part of... Yeah, Soros' our school... Okay, yeah, so it's like a school thing. Hello, Aeon. Welcome on in. Hope you're having a good evening. How are you doing, buddy? We are currently looking up a girl named Leslie Chase, and we found some stuff about her so far. We know that her father passed away when she was a teenager, roughly. And that she was semi-adopted. Right here, yeah. Upon petition and made legal guardian. Somebody else was made a legal guardian for her on top of her mother. So yeah, so that's in 1893. So her father likely died in 1893. Chasing down facts about Chase. Sorry, bad. Hey, I didn't even make that connection. Good on ya. I like that. We're chasing down Chase. Yeah. But it doesn't work, unfortunately, when she gets married, because after that, she becomes Leslie Briggs. It loses the fun. It loses the pun when she gets married. Jesus, yeah, look at all these newspapers. They're just repeating the same article over and over and over again. Yeah. Oh, wait. What is this? Alumni. Successful held at the Concordia Hotel. With enchanting music, an excellent menu. Oh, wait, no. Wait. Oh, she's on here multiple times. Wait, hold on. Our schools. The city school board reorganized Monday night. The following were recommended by Superintendent for certificates of proficiency in the shorthand department. Oh, wait, is that our Jesse Briggs? Is that how they met? Leslie Chase. Is that... I mean, it's spelled differently a little bit. Because his was spelled... Let's see. Yeah, it's with without an IE. Leslie, where was it? Dang it, I lost it. I don't know. Man, I can't... Okay, there it is. Hello, I'm so sorry. TLBG. I don't know what else to call you. I'm sorry. Hope you're having a good evening. Welcome on in. We're currently doing some research, trying to learn about the girl in the photograph pictured above me. A woman by the name of Leslie TL. Okay, great. I'll try and remember that. I'm sorry if I don't. Yeah, TL. Hello, TL. Hope you're having a good evening. And Alumni Association of the Wilkes-Barre High School gave their first annual banquet and dance to the graduating class of '99. Association is composed of the graduates of the school and is one of the most societies in the county. Dr. Weaver spoke personally, and those at present were. No, wait, it is him. Look. Oh my God, this is how they probably met. Leslie Chase, Jesse A. Briggs. That's her husband. Specifically because it has the A. That's how we know it's him. Jesse A. Briggs. That's how they met in school, not just through work. I mean, maybe that's where maybe they knew each other in school, but then they like developed a relationship later. That's also crazy that like they're listed next to each other in this article when, you know, they aren't even, it's not like an ABC order or anything like that. They just happen to be coincidentally listed next to each other. That's actually really interesting. It's been a while since I have seen you. Well, thanks for coming back, you know. It's always great to, whether you're new or whether you've been around here a while, it's always great seeing people here enjoying the stream. But wow, yeah, that is crazy that is a crazy coincidence that they're listed here next to each other. And it's 6 years before they get married. That is crazy. North Main Street Party. Ooh. Last evening at the home of M.E. Johns, North Main Street, a pleasant party was given by Miss Adele Johns. There were the usual amusements, refreshments were served, and flashlight photographs were taken. Those present were, and then yeah, there she is, hanging out with this group. That's something that I think people don't realize with, like, you know, old newspapers and stuff like this, is that people were like, this is basically the Facebook or Instagram of the 1900s, or yeah, because people, if you had a party, rather than posting it on like pictures of it or talking about it on Facebook and feeling sad you didn't get invited, instead back in the day you would read the newspaper and then read about a party, and they would list everybody who attended, so that way you knew specifically that you weren't invited. So it's one of those things that, like, you know, the methods or the technology changes, but some characteristics of society stay the same. Showing off what you were doing or where you were on a weekend is not new with social media. Okay, what's this one? High school dance. Okay. Yeah, this is all stuff for the dance. Oh wait, what is this? Miss Leslie Chase of Wilkes-Barre, formerly of this place, is seriously ill with scarlet fever. Ooh. Dang. Well, at least we know she recovered. We do know she recovered, at least. Hold on a second. Alumni dance. Okay, so this is another alumni dance. Those present were... Look at this! Again, this is almost a year later, 1900. They're listed next to each other again. Leslie J. Chase and Jesse A. Briggs. What if... Okay, what if they went together as a date, and that's why they're listed together? Like, you were listed next to who you were with, or who you went with. Maybe? I don't know, because that's too crazy of a coincidence that they're listed next to each other again a year later. In a completely different article. Ladies Relief Corps. Members of the Ladies Relief Corps, number 37, held a delightful party in their rooms in Memorial Har last evening. The attendance was large. The following were the prize winners. What was the competition, though? Second prize, Miss Leslie Chase and Charles Landis. Third prize, Euchre? E-U-C-H-R-E. Euchre? Is that... Oh, it's a card game. Euchre is a card game. Okay. That's what the competition is. I thought Euchre was like the name of that was part of the name of the group. Well, look, she tied for third place. Okay, before we move on and go forward in time, one quick thing I want to find is I want to see if we can find an obituary for her father. So I'm going to try... I know he's a doctor. H.W. Chase first. See if that brings up anything. Okay, it does. And I think his death was in 1893. Let's see. Okay, I don't want to spend... because I want to focus on Grace, but I do want to find this just so we can figure out when he died. Which I think it had to have been after 1890. Is this it? Wait. Wait. From all around, the towns up in the valley write written up in breezy paragraphs, including notes about well-known people. Oh, so these are people just talking about... Okay, hold on. As we write this all, that is mortal of our friend and fellow citizen, Dr. H.W. Chase is being placed in the ground. Oh, wait, is this what... Okay, so this is when he died. He was and is favorably known in Wilkes-Barre as the friend of railroad men, as surgeon and general physician of the Lehigh Valley Railroad. He was a genial gentleman, and those who know most of him are those to which his memory is most endeared. A graduate of the regular school, he was competent to conduct and successfully into health cases difficult for those who had more experience as practitioners. However, he had a large practice and graduated after a 3-year course at Ann Arbor after the close of the war, in which he served with distinction. He leaves behind a sound record and the esteem of his friends, who are only to be named by him, a man of genial impulses, generous. A fault is his untimely taking off makes the heart turn sad. His wife, a lady in every sense, is to sympathize with, and his son and daughter commiserated with in the death of a good husband and father. Okay, so he died in 1899. Because when was that one article about her getting the it was here. It was the court thing. Where was that? Okay, this is 1896 is when she got like the special money. Wait, where was? Okay, here it is. Okay, this is 1893. So this is if that is correct, in that he died in 1889, right? If he died in 1889, so 4 years later, she got that, like, money. Oh, yeah, here we go. October 25th, right here. What does this say? Dr. H.W. Chase died very suddenly at his home on Bridge Street at 3 o'clock Sunday morning of neuralgia of the stomach, aged 49 years, leaving a wife and 2 children. Wait a second. How old was Leslie when she died? Leslie was also 49 when she died. She died the same age as her father. That's an interesting coincidence. What is... Okay, hold on. I also want to look this up. What is... What is neuralgia? Neuralgia of the stomach. Alright, it's a sharp, severe, and often burning pain that follows a nerve pathway and results from nerve irritation or damage. It can occur anywhere in the body and is usually a symptom of an underlying condition. Huh. Okay, so that's what he died from. Different from what Leslie died from. But I want to see. Okay, that's from Luzerne County. What about Wyoming County? And let's go specifically, so we don't have to go through all this. 1889. Wait, here we go. Is this it? The announcement on Sunday morning last of the death of Dr. H.W. Chase startled the community, as but few of our people knew of his sickness. He had been to Philadelphia with F.C. Ross, Esquire, and returned on Thursday afternoon. About 12 o'clock that night, he was taken with severe pains in his stomach, which continued all day Friday and Saturday. Dr. Biddleman was present and prescribed for him, but the pain continued until Sunday morning, when he died at about 3 o'clock. Neuralgia of the stomach and gastrates is what the physicians pronounced his ailment. His funeral took place from his late residence at 1 o'clock p.m. on Tuesday. The Reverend J.H. Brown, assisted by Reverend G.C. Lyman, officiating. Whoa. Whoa, whoa. Okay, Reverend John H. Brown. That's the father of Amy Brown. Here. John H. Brown. So Amy's father officiated Leslie's father's funeral. Interment at the Gravel Hill Cemetery. Dr. Chase was about 50 years of age and had been engaged in the practice of medicine here for about 20 years. He was regarded as one of our best physicians, and he enjoyed a good practice. He leaves a wife and 2 children, a son and a daughter. Hello, Autumn Punk. Welcome on in. And hello, Marf. Welcome on in. Hope you guys are having a good evening. Yeah, it just shows, like, how, again, how connected everybody is in this photo, how it's a small community and how everybody, I feel every time I see, I feel like that, I feel like that meme of, like, Leonardo DiCaprio, like, when he's pointing at the TV. That's what I feel like every time I recognize somebody's name in one of these newspaper articles. The father of my sister's classmate officiated my sister's wedding and her husband's funeral 2 years later. Oh, wow. That is very sad. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I mean, if it's somebody you know, I guess it makes sense that you would use them for both situations, for marriages and funerals, if it's somebody you're already familiar with in your community. Okay, so hold on. If I put Henry... Oh, look at that. It's an advertisement for his medical business. Henry W. Chase, M.D., Taconic, Pennsylvania. Office in drugstore, Platt's Brick Block. Same church I was raised attending. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense in that case. Big moral there. The lane for opposing traffic is not to be used as a turn lane. Interesting. Huh. Big moral there. The lane for opposing traffic is not to be used as a turn lane. Huh. I think I get it. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't grow up going to church, so I'm not sure if that has like some sort of like biblical reference or not. Cool to think that by the time you finish researching this photo, you'll know so much about this close-knit community at this specific point in time. Oh, I already feel that, because Taconic... I already feel that, because Taconic... I mean, this is Wilkes-Barre, where this person ended up living later on, but... Yeah, I... Where'd it go? There it is. I know this area, like... I know Taconic, like, way too well. And the other areas, like Mehoopany and Meshopen, like, all of Wyoming County. Oh, Marv. Oh, okay, I see. I'm sorry. I thought that was I thought because it was a church, I thought that was like supposed to be like the way it was written. It kind of sounded like a metaphor. I thought it was like some sort of metaphor, but it was literally that's what happened to your brother-in-law. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, sorry, sorry that I didn't get that. That's okay. That makes way more sense. Guy driving an SUV, yeah, cross the yellow line to use the opposing lane as a turn lane. Okay, yeah, that. Okay, yeah, sorry. I honestly thought it was like it was like a metaphor. Yeah, no, it's all right. Yeah, don't. Place name sounds indigenous. Would you happen to know the local tribe? I actually don't. I haven't really done research into the actual like history of the town or the county. Um, I've been mostly focusing on like the the time period around this photo, like maybe like one generation back from the photo. Um, for like these like kids like parents and stuff like that, but really not beyond that. So actually, I don't know specifically what tribe, but yeah, they do. Uh, you have a map, you can look it up. Oh, actually, okay, so it's actually not Wyoming. Sorry, I understand the confusion. It's actually Pennsylvania. This is Pennsylvania, but it's Wyoming County. Wyoming County, Pennsylvania. Yeah, thank you, Marf. Yeah, the I understand the confusion there. Yeah, it's Wyoming County, Pennsylvania is the location. But yeah, if you could look into that, that'd be actually cool. I'd be curious to know. Oh yeah, so yeah, links. I don't allow links in chat. But if you just type out like the name of the website, I'll look into it. I'll look into it after stream. If you want to share that, you can share that. Just don't put like the actual like URL in the chat. Wait, hold on. Let's see here. Do we have? Whoa. Okay, so it's just ads. There's no actual. Huh. October 1889. Oh. Okay, yeah, there's nothing. The ads let you know that he's practicing. Yeah, he is still. Well, what was crazy is that those ads, they continued after his death. He died in October of 1889, and they continue on until December. So he probably had some sort of um he probably had some like deal with the newspaper where he like paid for like a year of ads, something like that. And even though he died, they just kept printing them. Nativeland.ca. Okay, that's the name of the website, and it says the local tribes are Susquehannock and Munsi Lenape. Sorry if I mispronounced those. So Susquehannock, that makes sense because the river. So the river is called the Susquehanna River. So that's probably where that name gets it from. And the town itself is called Tunkhannock. So it's like a combination of like the river name and the town name. So that's probably where those places got their names. And Muncie Lenape. I haven't seen anything that sounds like that. Just ads can relate. Yeah, of course. Just ads. All the time. And yeah, I do think, yeah, it was probably a prepaid thing where they just, he paid for like a year's worth of ads for the newspaper. And so they just kept printing them. Because they start in January and they go for the whole year consistently. Okay. Now that we've figured that out, let's go back to Leslie. 1901 to 1910. I want to see if we can find her marriage. Okay, we got a few things here. Okay, these ones from 1909. This one from 1905. That looks like their marriage. Okay, the Wilkes-Barre Record says that invitations are out announcing the coming wedding of Miss Leslie J. Chase to Jesse Briggs to be solemnized at the home of the bride, 73 Davis Place, at 8 o'clock Wednesday evening, March 22nd. Miss Chase was a former resident of this place, being the daughter of the late Dr. H.W. Chase. Okay. That's March of 1905. Is this one just them visiting? Yeah. Mrs. Jesse. Okay, yeah, now. Oh, that says Jesse Driggs. Formerly Miss Leslie Chase. Okay, yeah. Jesse Driggs. They were so close. So close with that one. Yeah, I'm not indigenous, so I can't say anything about the pronunciation, but I love learning about different communities. Oh yeah, I do too. I love, especially like with place names, like it is crazy. Like you don't realize how many names in America, especially like come from from indigenous groups. Like it really is crazy when you look into it and like you realize just how much is influenced by that. Okay, yeah, no, not that one. That's a different Leslie. Okay, let's try Leslie Briggs. No. Okay, let's try Jesse Briggs. Okay, that's the one that we just looked at. Okay, let's go back. Holy crap. Oh no. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, actually, wait, hold on. Let's go back to Leslie. Let's go back to Leslie again. Specifically Luzerne County. Okay, hold on. What is this? Common pleas minutes. Acknowledgement of the deed of the Fierce Management Church. Appointment of Leslie J. Chase as a standing commissioner. Appointment decreed. Huh. Okay, so that's maybe when she was a stenographer? Yeah, because this is the same thing. Same article posted, again, 3 different times in different newspapers. Oh yeah, a lot of state names too, yes, have also been... Wyoming, I think, is also one that comes from. Like Wyoming, Minnesota, I think Illinois as well. Yeah, like a lot of state names have origins back to, especially the further west you go. I think the further west you go, you start to get more of that. Uh, let's see. What's this one from December? Senior Department. First Presbyterian. Gifts to those who attend regular happy scenes. A pleasant feature of the exercise of the presentation of gifts to those who were perfect in attendance during the past year. The following received gifts. And she was one of them. Okay, and she was also Presbyterian. Because I'm noticing that that's the connection for most of the people in the photo. Most of the people in the photo, in this photo, went to the local Presbyterian church. Majority, or either they were family, like a few people in here are related because they're cousins, but majority of them, it seems like, knew each other because they all went to the Presbyterian church. Okay. Let's see, what else do we got here? Reverend and Mrs. Merkel gave a party at their home. Okay, she was present at a party. That's what this one is. What is this one? Teachers. Presbyterian. A new feature characterized with a Christmas. Scholars were greeted with 3 large Christmas trees over the. As is customary, every year each scholar received a Christmas present, which consisted of candy, games, books, etc., according to the department he or she was in. Besides, prizes were distributed for attendance. The following who attended regularly every Sunday received appropriate prizes. Okay, Miss Leslie Chase. Okay, so she was attending classes at the local church. Okay, and she attended for 2 years consistently. Okay, that's what that is. And this is more the same. Is this the same thing, just like a year later? Yeah, this is the same thing. But now she's at 3 years. She's slowly moving up. That's her. Okay, that's her attending a party. I normally skip the ones that are just her, like, or whoever I'm researching, like, are just them, like, either attending a party, unless the person is, like, someone else we're researching, or them visiting, like, going, like, an article or a little blurb that just says, like, oh, they are visiting somebody, like, they are traveling to this place. Because a lot of times those don't really add anything to the, the overall, like, historical narrative. And she's still there. This is that same thing. Okay, yeah, that's a thing for their wedding. That's the announcement of their wedding that we saw. That was in the other newspaper. But they're reprinting it here. Yeah, this is the same thing. Yeah, these are all going to be about their marriage. But their marriage isn't until... yeah, these are all just advertisements for it coming up. Advertisements for their wedding. Put a lot in the newspaper. Oh, wow, this is a big article. Because this isn't even for the wedding. This is before, right? Chase Briggs nuptials down for tonight. Wedding to be solemnized in this city will be a very charming affair. This evening at 8 o'clock, Dr. E. G. Fullerton will unite in marriage Miss Leslie Josephine Chase and Jesse Ayers Briggs at the home of the bride, 73 Wright Street, in the presence of a large number of friends of the young people. The house has been lavishly decorated with greens, roses, carnations, and tulips. In the parlor, a large arch has been erected in front of the windows, built of hemlock. Back of this and at the sides is a banking of palms and the hemlock. Festoons of ground pine are arranged from the chandeliers to the corners of the rooms and over the doors and windows. At the top of the arch will be suspended a large ball made of evergreen and filled with rosebuds and petals, which will be showered on the couple immediately after the ceremony. The bride and the groom will enter the room together, being met at the arch by Dr. Fullerton. They will be attended by Miss Ruth Mildred and Miss Helen Gertrude Chase, cousins of the bride. As flower girls, they will wear dainty white frocks, cut low neck, and short sleeves, and will carry baskets filled with pink carnations and daisies. The bride's gown is of white Paris muslin, lace trimmed. She will carry a bouquet made of a large bunch of violets surrounded by white sweet peas. In the center of the violets will be one American beauty rose. Miss Harry Chase will receive the guests, and Arnold Lohman and John Shepard will furnish music. Mrs. Hawksrider will serve. After the reception, Mr. Briggs and his bride will leave on a trip including Washington, Old Point Comfort, and Philadelphia. On their return, they will make their home with the bride's mother. Miss Chase is the daughter of the late D.H.W. Chase of Taconic, but with her mother has lived in this city for several years. The groom is an employee of the Lehigh Valley Coal Company. And out-of-town guests will be Mr. and Mrs. F.B. Grenfield, the daughter of Eleanor, and Honorable and Mrs. E.M. Phillips. Look at that. Those are the people that we saw that were helping them after her father died, who set up as guardians. Dr. and Mrs. B.E. Beidelman from Taconic, Mr. and Mrs. A.B. Briggs, Mrs. Josephine H. Tripp and Fitzsimmons of Scranton, and Mrs. Nelson G. Ellsworthy of Ridgeway, Ontario. Okay, no names that I recognize there. In terms of other people in the photo. Does this have any... Yeah, this is just a general thing. Briggs Chase in Wilkes-Barre, this date. Man, that article had a lot about it, though. What about this? Okay, this looks like a thing that was written afterwards. At the home of the bride, 73 Davis Place, at 8 o'clock last evening, Reverend Dr. Edward Fullerton of the First Presbyterian Church announced the words that made Jesse Ayers Briggs and Miss Leslie Josephine Chase husband and wife. The ceremony was performed in the parlor, which was tastefully decorated for the occasion, the prevailing colors being pink and green. The couple, who were unattended except for two flower girls, Miss Ruth Mildred and Helen Gertrude Chase, nieces of the bride, descended onto the parlor, preceded by the flower girls, to the strains of Lohengrin's Wedding March, played by John Shepard and Arnold Lohman. Oh wow, so there was no groomsmen or maid of honor or anything like that. Huh. The bride made a handsome appearance in a dress of Paris muslin, trimmed with lace, and carried a bouquet of sweet peas and violets. The little flower girls, wearing dainty white frocks, cut low neck, and short sleeves, carried baskets of margarites and pink carnations. Mrs. H.E. Chase received immediately after the ceremony. A wedding dinner was served by Mrs. Hawkrider? I think that's what that is. Mr. and Mrs. Briggs left for Washington and will spend their honeymoon in the South. They will be at home after May 15th. Whoa, that's a long honeymoon. They're going to be gone for over a month. Because this is March 22nd when they got married. The presents were numerous and costly. And then, yeah, this is the list of guests that we just read in the other one. Okay. Okay, yeah, and then, yeah, that's it. That's the last thing for 1905. Everything else, because after that point, yeah, she's going to be referred to as Mrs. Jessie Briggs. Yeah, see, Mrs. Jessie Briggs. Let's see. Yeah, this is just her visiting her uncle. Okay. So this is what makes me nervous. If I put just Jessie Briggs, we have 572 results. We have 572 results for a couple reasons. One, we know that there was another... Oh, wait, shoot, are we in ads? Oh, shoot, we are. Oh, God, it's way later than I just realized. Okay. Shoot. Okay. While ads are going, I'm gonna have to end soon. All right, let's wait for ads to be done. Okay, once ads are done, let's see. That's the problem, is that I always get so like invested in what we're doing that I don't realize that ads are going. Okay, what if I change it to... I'll just change it real quick to Mrs. Jessie Briggs. Okay. Oh no, because then we're also gonna get the other Jessie Briggs' wife too. Shoot. Okay. Okay, so that's a problem. I think what we're gonna have to do then, I'm just gonna go ahead and probably... I don't normally like to do this, but I think I'm gonna, just because of time, I do have a time constraint tonight, because I do have to be... I have to talk to somebody at 9:30. So... Okay. Yeah, when the ads are done, I'll explain the problem to everybody. Okay. Yeah, because where was that Jessie Briggs? Okay. I think we're coming at the end of ads, coming out of ads here. Sorry for not noticing that we went to an ad break earlier. Thank you, Coco, for letting me know that we were in an ad break. Okay. So I think what happened... Okay, so it's okay. So this is what's happening. So if we just search Jessie Briggs for this county, Luzerne County, where they were living, we have 572 results. The reason why we have 572 results is because there were 2 Jesse Briggses living in this area, living in this town at the time. There were 2. One of them was a carpenter, and the other was working for the railroad and everything, and had a couple other jobs. Then I thought, okay, if we want to specifically look for Leslie, we have to put Mrs. Jesse Briggs. That led to 58 matches, which is still a lot, but definitely less than we had before. But the problem is that now, because right here, this thing is labeled 1901, and we're getting a Miss Jessie Briggs. And for a second, I thought, like, wait, that's not possible. They're not married yet. Then I realized this is the wife of the other Jessie Briggs. So not only are there 2 Jessie Briggses, there are also 2 Mrs. Jessie Briggses living in here. So that's going to make it very difficult and very time-consuming to sort of like differentiate and figure out which one is which. So I want to try something else just really quick, see if this narrows it down. What if we change it to Jesse A. Briggs? Because they do refer to his middle name a couple times. Okay, there we go. This seems to be what we're going to have to do going forward because there isn't enough time. However, unfortunately, of all the nights, we've been having a great time here. We've been finding a lot of really cool stuff and having great conversations. Unfortunately, I do have to be somewhere at 9:30 in less than 15 minutes. So I really only have time to look up one last thing before we go. Normally, I like to go through each decade, 1901, 1910, and go through everything. But unfortunately, I just don't have time to do that tonight with Leslie because I do have a time constraint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look as like a final, as like a final thing for Leslie. We'll go ahead and let's see if we can find her obituary as like a final, kind of like a way to end the stream and everything like that. Let's look for obituary. So we know she dies in 1930. Specifically in April. Okay. Here we go. Okay, we got 2 right here. Yeah, and I apologize, guys. Normally, like I said, I do like to go more into these things, but unfortunately, I do have another commitment that I have to head to in a little bit. So we'll end it here, and I'll probably do some more research with Leslie off stream. So then we'll continue with the next person on the list on our next stream on Wednesday. All right. Mrs. L.C. Briggs dies at home here. Mrs. L.C. Briggs, wife of Jesse A. Briggs, who is connected with the Pennsylvania Department of Internal Revenue in Luzerne County, died yesterday at her home, 127 Academy Street, City, after a lingering illness. Mrs. Briggs was an active churchwoman and a member of the First Presbyterian Church. She gained a wide acquaintanceship throughout the city through her participation in various church endeavors and was highly esteemed by all who knew her and her upright character and pleasant disposition. Besides her husband, she is survived by one brother, Harry E. Chase, of the firm of J. H. Brooks and Company of this city and Scranton. She was the daughter of Dr. and Mrs. H. W. Chase and was born in Taconic. She was affiliated with the Ladies Auxiliary, Dioluvinot Commandery, Knights Templar. The funeral will be held at 1 o'clock Wednesday afternoon from Niffin's Chapel, 465 South Main Street, City. I think they forgot to put the city, and like the city is just supposed to be a placeholder. Interment will be at Sunnyside Cemetery at Taconic. Okay. And then there's another one here. Is this going to be the same thing? Okay, this is about her burial. Miss Leslie C. Briggs, wife of Jesse A. Briggs of 127 Academy Street, was laid at final rest today following services in Niffin's Chapel, South Main Street, City. Burial was at Sunnyside Cemetery at Tacanic. The funeral was largely attended by friends and relatives from all sections of the county, and there were numerous floral tokens in evidence, attesting to the love and esteem in which Mrs. Briggs was regarded. Pallbearers were Leslie Johnson, Charles Austin, Charles Honeywell, Morgan Jones, E.W. Brady, and Ferd C. Wintermute. Flowers were carried by E.J. Robbins, George Host, Oscar Drasher, and Harry Meckitz. Reverend Paul S. Heath, pastor of First Presbyterian Church, had charge of services, and Reverend Leon K. William offered prayer. All right. I'll do one quick thing just to see if there's anything in Wyoming. Oh, wait, let me change it to Leslie real quick. Okay, here we go. Yeah, there's only one in current necrology. The death of Mrs. Leslie A. Briggs occurred on Sunday morning at the family home, Academy Street, Wilkes-Barre. She was born in Tacanic, daughter of Dr. and Mrs. H.W. Chase, besides her husband, Leslie G. Briggs, employed by Pennsylvania Department of Internal Affairs in Luzerne County. Mrs. Briggs is survived by one brother, Harry E. Chase, of the brokerage firm of J.H. Brooks and Company. Okay, so yeah, that's basically kind of a lot of what we just read in this one, just kind of a shorter version of it. Yeah, I think a lot of the articles are just kind of going to be a lot of obituaries, if they're in different newspapers, just kind of are the same thing just over and over again. Yeah. All right. So yeah, so that is where we're going to call it today. I do have to get going, unfortunately. I normally don't rush this much. Oh, thank you, Coco, for the hydrate. Yes, I definitely do need to hydrate before I go. Been talking a lot today. Thank you, Binka. Yeah, I'm glad. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for joining. And I'm glad you guys had a great time, and that you guys found this interesting. Because yeah, we learned a lot about Leslie today. We learned a lot. We learned who she married. We learned that she was a stenographer, and we learned that her father, unfortunately, was a doctor that unfortunately passed away when she was a kid. And overall seemed to have at least, unfortunately, we are missing about 20 years of her life because I wasn't able to do newspaper research, but I'll do that off stream. And just do like a preliminary thing off stream, and I'll let you guys know in the next stream if they found anything. So let me go ahead and head on back over to our office. Oh God, sorry. Sorry for the Victorian child. Thank you again, Coco, for the... It does belong. Honestly, I think this photo does belong in a museum. There's so many good stories with it. And sorry for the Victorian child jump scare there. That was left up from before we switched screens. But yeah, so that's going to do it for today, folks. If you're new here, I'm not a professor, but you can call me Nap. I do these streams every Sunday and Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we do history and genealogy research live and uncover really cool stories. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you go ahead and drop a follow, and see what cool things we discover in the future. Also, sometimes I do kind of like guerrilla streams on other days where we play other games. Like right now we're playing Stardew Valley a lot, so if you want to check out those, I might be doing one of those streams this weekend. I'm not sure. Also, I've been advertising a lot. If you're this is something you're interested in, or sorry, if my mind's racing because like I said, I do need to go somewhere. Something else I do want to advertise is that if you If you liked it here, I highly recommend you guys are here for my April 1st stream. I'm advertising it a little early already because I do have something very special planned for that stream because that is a Wednesday. We're not going to be doing research like this. We're going to be doing something a little different. But I really hope you guys are able to be here for that stream because it's going to be really fun. Also, I have a YouTube channel linked down below if you want to go ahead and look at that, where I've uploaded some shorts on some of the stuff that we've found. All right, so let's go find somebody to raid. And if you guys could stick around for the raid, that would be greatly appreciated. Let's see, who is live, or should we raid somebody new? Let's go ahead. Oh, whoops. Well, I just clicked on somebody that I thought I was gonna raid, and then they just went offline. Oops. Okay. Okay. If you're new here, you should know that it takes me stupidly long because I have choice. I have choice paralysis when it comes to rating. I don't know why. I always just get. There's so many cool people. Yeah. Let's go ahead and let's raid. Thank you. Timing was a little off on that one, Coco. All right, let's raid VPie here. Let's go ahead and raid VPie here. Give her some support. She's currently playing Pokapia, which honestly looks like a really fun game. That if I had a Switch too, I would maybe play it. So let me go ahead and get the raid message going here. That's our subscribers, and then for followers. All right. And we got that, and we got that. All right. So yeah, again, thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you guys had a great time. This has been a really fun stream. I'm sorry that we are cutting this off early and not doing as much of a deep dive as we normally do, but sometimes life happens and you have to do other stuff, unfortunately. But either way, I will see you guys for sure on Wednesday, where we'll be researching number. Oh my God, it'll be number 15. I can make the Burger King foot lettuce joke. Oh, I'm so excited. All right, great. So look forward to that on Wednesday. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.